Good evening, everyone. Bit of insomnia, patchwork, quilting, whatever tonight. Hexagons. I've always got a whole load of hexagons on the go. These ones are actually, they're quite large, so that we get quite a quick growing. Every single bit in there is different. I just like completely random. It's what I do with some of my scraps. Not all of my scraps, just some of my scraps. But, so that's a good, says she, I don't know if you can see that. It's a fair size flower going on there. So I can't do any of my mystery quilt tonight because otherwise I'm going to start giving too much away to people. And it won't be a mystery, will it? So I thought I'd better go back to my good old faithful. I've always got hexes on the go somewhere. So I've pulled out, I've not really looked as such, but I've pulled out reds, for want of a better expression, so that we can do a, oh look, he's got a little face on. That's cute. Bees. It's whatever I had really, whatever I got my hands on. Oh, that's quite a nice, that could be a centre, couldn't it? That's actually quite dominant, so I quite like that. So, excuse me, I have got a bit of a weird cough going on. I'm assuming I've probably got lurgy coming, like half the population. Right, so we're going to do a bit of Hexi stitch. I'm going to stick that one in the middle, I think. I quite like that. It's a bit different. Let's start with that nice little pale one there. Okay, for those of you that have never done hexes, initially I've cut card. It's very thin card. They're the tickets from the shows that I do. Don't suppose you can see the writing on any of them. I tend to put the writing down. These have all been used at the different quilt shows that I run for tickets that you purchase to come to the workshops, and then you hand in the tickets. I then have to just say to people, look, to the organisers, here we go, however many turned out. But I get to keep the tickets after, plus they give me any spares or anybody else's they get their hands on, which means this all gets reused, which is fabulous, I think. And I actually like to draw my papers. I'm not one of these that will print them off on paper. It's too flimsy for me. I don't necessarily like putting interfacing and stuff in them that stays in. Some people will do that and get a nice little padded version. That's not for me either. I just like bog standard, old-fashioned hexagons. So I cut my papers and then I tack. I think you can probably see the tacking around here. Sorry. Tack the paper around nice and tight around the edge so as you get a good finish. And then we just stitch them together. Easier said than done, some people might say. Right, so I've got a grey thread. I always use neutral greys. Oh, I've got a white there. In case there was any white on white, I've got... Yeah, that's a white as well, to be honest. Where's my grey gone? I had hold of it just now. Oh, there it is. There we go. So Gutermann actually do 3 different greys as such. A light, a medium and a dark, which sort of tend to work with everything. And I tend to use the medium one when I'm doing this. And they also do it in a silk, as opposed to this is a cotton thread, yeah? The silk thread actually goes into the fabric and it sort of disappears. It's amazing. It's really soft and lovely. But on this occasion we're using cotton. I'll have a little bowl for all of my pin. I've got hundreds of different pin cushions and things everywhere with different projects. So that's the one that lives in with all my hexagons all the time. Anyway, So I'm going to stitch these together. So I'll run it up the card, yeah, so that it comes out at, you can't see that, I've just realised, there we go. So run it up the card and out at the point. Let me see if I can adjust this slightly, that you can, there we are. So I need to hold this up a little bit so that I can actually see. And do you know what, I'm going to put a pair of glasses on and see if that helps as well. There we go. Oh look, I can see a bit better. That's good. Excuse the state of my nails. Going to be done on Tuesday for Christmas. That'd be nice. So we're just going to take a tiny bit on one side and a tiny bit on the other. Yeah. And you're going to stitch that. I've actually probably got too much thread here. Normally I like just enough to do a couple and that'd be it. See, and then that goes across. So you're not getting the paper, you're just getting a bit of the fabrics. All right. I'm struggling here because actually, in order for you to see, my hexagons are at the wrong distance for me and my eyesight. How weird is that? There we go. So, yeah. So this is me sitting at, what time is it? What's that? 2:45 in the morning. Sunday morning. Doing a bit of stitching. What are we doing today? Today is 3 Amigos Sunday. So I'll be live on Facebook at 10 o'clock with offers and things this week because I've not actually had anything new in and I've been working on the mystery quilt, so I can't very well give you any offers and things like that. So because it's Christmas, sort of the last posting for want of a better this week, I'm just going to do for everybody a discount on my website. So you're going to get 20% off if you put the code in. The code being 3 Amigos in capital letters. And then you'll get 20% off whatever you're purchasing. Unfortunately, you've still got to pay the postage. Sorry about that. But 20% off stock. There are a couple of things it doesn't include. So that would be the bags of stuff because they're already half price. Well, more than half price. So I'm afraid I can't literally give you those. But you get 20% off everything else. So my website, for those of you that don't know, Abbieanne.com. And that's spelled Abbieanne. Alright, so Abbieanne.com. And there's the discount code. I'll leave that up there for a few days. It being Christmas and all that. There's a small business which is literally just me. I appreciate everything that you support me with. So purchases and workshops and classes all over the place, retreats. Without all of you, I'd have to go and find a proper job. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? No. Paul and I, that is, my husband. He does sewing machine servicing. Just getting those two corners in there together. Sewing machine servicing, and between us we both do picture framing. So without those little bits as well, I wouldn't be able to do Abbieanne Patchwork and Quilting because it would not sustain. My husband actually works full-time elsewhere as well. So sewing machine servicing is just an add-on in. Do you know, he's so good. He does that, and we do frame in between us in order for me to do what I want, i.e. patchwork. I'm so lucky. There's a lot of other husbands out there who wouldn't support that. Right, I don't know if you noticed while I've been sat here talking and wittering, I've actually got to the end of that join and come back on myself several stitches. Alright, so that should hold itself now. Somewhere I've got a pair of scissors. Actually, they could be anywhere. Are they in the bottom of there? There's a pair of scissors. In all of my different project bags, I have little pairs of scissors, pin cushions, and appropriate threads and things. I tell you, honestly, I've got that many. It's very naughty, and I've lost the needle at the end here. I can see it now. Take my glasses off for a second and I can see. It's very difficult. I'm sure there's lots of other people out there with similar issues. That I've got one basic long or short-sighted eyes, one each way as it were, and astigmatism and God knows what. So I tend to have glasses that are at fixed distances. So short, medium and distance. So anything that's not quite in the right fix, I can't really see anything. There we go. Right, so there we are. So we open that out. Now, hopefully, you can't really see the stitches unless you pull it, and then you'll just see a little bit going on. So we get the next one. That's just anything that I've picked up. And I'm going to put him here. So I tend to start to the right and work round. Right or left-handed, you'll do whatever suits you. Okay, so make sure that it's going to fit really nicely in the centre. If you need to, you can put a pin there. Don't forget, these are all squash because they're paper. So I can push that out of the way and hold that there. Now, what you didn't see before was when I started, I was holding things wrong. So can you see, I just run that up, not through the paper, but on the back of the paper and come out in that corner. Nice little knot in your thread. And then you can squidge all of that in your hand. And away we go again. This is something, as I say, I take it with me places if I've got nothing else on the go. Before you know it, you've got a quilt. It's something I like to do. I tend to do baby quilts like this. Do you love her? Oh, morning, Kath. It's just popped up that somebody's watching. That's kind. That's nice. Sometimes gives me a name. Sometimes it doesn't. Other times I could have loads of people watching. I have no idea. So yes, so we're hexagoning. I'm trying to do it sort of fairly slowly so that anyone that doesn't normally hexagon can see what I'm doing. There we go. So there is a thing with these as well. When you're stitching, you don't want to be stitching too close to each other. Otherwise, if you do tiny, tiny stitches, which is lovely, you're only picking up a tiny bit of each side. That's good. But you can land up with a ridge once you take the papers out. So you don't want it too tiny. So I would imagine, it's hard for me to say with my glasses on, because everything's at a different size. They're about, my stitches are probably about 1/8 of an inch or something like that, which is plenty to keep it all together. But I was just saying, well, I tend to do baby quilts, hexagon baby quilts. I love a baby quilt in hexagons. Nice big hexagons generally, baby flavour fabrics, and then I'll always, I say always, mostly, if I'm doing a baby quilt, I will make it quite large, because I figure it'll be more useful longer. But I'll make it double-sided, so that on the other side I go through all my fabrics and I pull out anything that's of interest, have it animals on it, alphabet, all sorts of child-related stuff, and I just do nice big squares and make the backing from it, so that it becomes a playmat and a bit of an educational, so very, very colourful, and lots of interesting things going on. Right, now you'll see I've got to the corner there. So I'm going to open that out, and I'm going to fold this one, and then get this lined up as tightly as I can, so that we're going to finish well up here. Fold that one right into the corner so that you're not going to get any holes, alright? So then we're going to take off in the other direction, says she, trying to get hold of the pinky red. I've got a whopping great phone and thing around my neck here, and lights, so it's actually quite difficult. And I'm stitching at a distance for me. There we go. So I'm now off in the other direction. Keep adjusting that and making sure that that really is where you need it. Okay. It's amazing how quickly, because these are actually quite large hexagons, how quickly they come together. I do make this one will be an adult one because of the size and the fabrics. The fabrics will be all sorts of everything. I think I said just now, generally I use a different fabric on every single hexagon. So it's a good scrappy. It takes quite a while. It gets rid of my stash a little bit. The other things I like doing are Japanese folded patchwork. I'll maybe show you that one night. I have a template that I had made for that. I designed and had made in several sizes. So we like a bit of Japanese folded as well. If I think of it, I'll bring some into the house so that the next time I can't sleep, I'll show you Japanese folded maybe, if I remember. My studio, I'm very lucky, is out in the back garden. And it's a goodly size, although I need it bigger, to be fair. I've filled it up. What is it about any space? We just fill it up. And then what more? So my studio is full of fabric and all sorts of lovely gear. So if you need anything, I have it all. But yeah, so I'll once I come out of an evening, I look up, I come into the house, and I do not go back out. I don't care what reason it is, what time. That's it. Like other people go to work, it's me going to work in the back garden. Once I've gone out, I'm out. I come back in at lunchtime, sort the cats out, have something to eat, and then I go back out again for the afternoon. Those of you that follow me know that I've got Tom out in the cupboard. Black Cat Tom. He's my company out there. He actually lives in the cupboard. Once it starts going dark of an evening, he starts getting antsy with me. Wants his dinner and wants to be put to bed. So he actually stays in the cupboard all night. These days I actually lock him in. He's been with us a good while now. He wasn't actually our cat. He chose to be with us. So he gets locked in these days. Didn't ever used to, but now his owner has moved. So I assume that he's ours. I've just lost me thread from me needle. Excuse me going above you. I need to bring it in very slightly. No, what I do need to do first is cut the end at an angle. Like that, or it's not going to go through the needle. There we go, straight through. Cut it at an angle, it always helps. So I've got to the end on this, and I'm just coming back on myself for those that are actually watching what I'm doing. Yeah, so Black Cat Tom lives in the cupboard. So I put him to bed when he really gets antsy with me. I feed him, lock up, make sure he's all nice and warm. He's got about half a dozen different beds out there. And then I come in for the evening. So I don't go out there again unless I have to, because if he gets disturbed, he's a bit of a bugger. He'll, yeah, that's how I tie my knots. He'll want to go out, and then he won't come in until I don't know what time, just to be annoying. He's more than happy out there, but he will cause issues, because I can't settle until I know he's in and happy. So I've just picked up another hexagon there. There we go. Now, as I was saying before, up the back, out the corner, put him in, scrunch it all up in my hand. I'm just making sure he's all right to the middle there. If you need to, put a pin in there. I don't like to, because as you can see, I scrunch everything up. And if I've got a pin in there, I actually damage myself quite easily, because I'm a bit stupid like that. Once I get going, there we are. So it's across the two. Try not to get the paper. When you get your hexagon quilt to the size that you want, what I do is I do part hexes. So half hexes one way. When you look at it, depending which side you are, you get like a full half. So like a half of one of them one way. And when you get top and bottom, you get a half that way. So I do papers for the halves, and I attach them to my quilt, or my papers that I'm doing quilt top, so that I get a nice square finish. You could then put a border on if you wanted to. Some people won't do the halves, and then they'll just applique it onto another fabric. And as I say, I do a double-sided, so then I've done my backing, and then I quilt it just like any other quilt. These days, I don't have a lot of time, especially in the middle of the night, nothing to do other than stitch, to quilt, because I like to quilt by hand, in truth. So I actually pass most of my stuff to a couple of different ladies who long arm. Get that long armed, and then I can just bind and finish. It's more productive for me to have someone else do it, as much as I love it. Plus my hands will only cope these days with so much. I can sit here for an hour or so at night with no problem, but if I'm quilting, so that will be hours and hours of work, and my arthritis isn't so fabulous for that, although it's nowhere near as bad as some. And I have got gloves that I wear generally if I'm doing quite a bit, but they don't look very nice on here, so I try not to wear them when I'm doing my witterings. Right, I'm just going to finish this one, and I think you've probably had enough of me for the night. I'll get to here and go up the other side, and then I'll carry on peacefully and leave everybody to it. I don't know if anyone's watching as such. If you are, thank you very much. We've just done a little lesson in hexes. It's a bit of a drawn out lesson, in truth, but there we go. I'm just trying to get right into the corner there. What I don't want are holes in the middle So at this point I've done that, so I'm literally going to fold it this way, get that as close there as you can, pin it if you need to, fold this one in half out of the way. Make sure, if you think you're going to get a hole there, take a little bit of the cream. So what you could do, if you really felt you needed to, a little bit of cream into the red, which will pull the centre. Then go to the brown there, as you can see, or the black. Little bit there. Whoop, and then pull. So that actually, you've done the 3, so that should stop any gapping. But if you've cut your papers accurately, drawn them, cut them accurately, tacked everything on nice and tightly, that shouldn't happen. They should all fit. It's like everything patchwork. Accuracy is what's needed from start to finish on everything. If you can, the more accurate you are, the easier your quilts go together. Doesn't matter what you're doing. That's my word, accuracy. If you come to classes or sessions, I'm always saying it. How the ladies put up when we keep going, accuracy. They must be sick of it. Those that know me well. Isn't it weird that at night we talk quietly? Paul's way the other side in his bed, or in his sleep, I want to say, really. He's out cold. He won't ever hear me talking in here. He don't hear me get up and leave. He won't hear me go back to bed either. He has no idea what I do through the middle of the night out here. I get myself a cup of coffee. I have to say decaf coffee. I've had that. I've had a fuss with the indoor cats. And now I've sat and done this. Got myself all prepped with all my gear around my neck. Done some stitching. Talked to you for half hour. And then I'll probably carry on for another half hour or so until I feel like I'm ready for bed again. And then I'll go back off to bed. And he'll be completely oblivious to the whole lot. He'll have been fast asleep through the whole thing. It's only because I'm envious. I would love to be able to sleep right the way through. It just doesn't happen one reason or another. There's no one reason for my lack of sleep. I don't know about anybody else, but I think it's whatever reason. If you wake up, if your brain switches on, you've had it. No matter who you are. Or the reason that you've woken in the first place. Once that brain gets in gear, it didn't happen. And then you've got to, at least I have to tire myself out again as such and get myself ready to go back to sleep. Some people read, I know. There we go, look. I'll put this over onto the Insomni Quilting group, so anybody that does want to know about hexagons and is bored, awake in the middle of the night and wants something to watch or somebody for a bit of company, there you go. Right, I'm just going to finish this off. Where's my scissors? My scissors are down there. Put my needle somewhere I'm not going to lose it in the pin cushion. Take my glasses off so as I can actually see what I'm doing. That sounds daft, doesn't it? There we go. Half a rosette. 3 more to add to that. I'll do that before I go to bed. You can see the printing through on that. There we go. Right, so I don't know how many more of these I'll do, because as and when and if I wake up, I'll do stuff. If you find it helpful or interesting, please let me know, because I'd hate to be boring everybody with these lives through the middle of the night. I don't know whether I'll be awake coming up to Christmas and the rest of it, or stitching, or what I'll be doing. If I am, I will say hello to you all. Okay? Go back to bed. Sleep well. And the other thing I say to everybody is be lovely. Bye.